We've done it. We've found the most constricted meta in the history of PvP metas, and that is the Fighting Cup remix. The only meta that could be more constricted than this is a Dragon-type cup where we include Wigglytuff. That's how bad this is. Normally, we pair these 5-minute summary videos with a much more in-depth, complete breakdown analysis of the meta, but we figured this meta is so small that we don't need that breakdown. We can just cover the entire thing in just these 5 minutes. So, as you can see at the top here, the meta begins and ends with Toxicroak. Toxicroak is one of the very few things that can resist fighting-type moves, and it has such an awesome array of moves itself. Throwback. How dominant is Toxicroak? Well, across the entire meta, not just the core meta, the whole Fighting Cup meta, Toxicroak loses to 4 things. Of those 4 things, 3 of them are bait dependent. So Shadow Poliwrath, Crabrawler, and Galarian Farfetch can beat it if they successfully bait and then throw their nuke moves. Of those 3, I wouldn't recommend Crabrawler, because it's terrible. It loses to most other things, and you have to XL it as well, which not worth it. The only thing that in the whole meta that can consistently, reliably beat a Toxicroak is Throw, and that is with the power, the awesome might that is Zen Headbutt. With Zen Headbutt and its decent bulk, Throw can completely farm down a Toxicroak without having to throw a charge move or shield anything. So that means Toxicroak is an absolute non-negotiable for your team. Throw is highly, highly recommended as your second Pokemon. So what are you going to put as your third? So I do recommend Shadow Poliwrath or Galarian Farfetch'd. They both have their advantages, such as for example, for that, both of these Pokemon, Shadow Poliwrath and Galarian Farfetch, can beat Throw in themselves, which is really good to know. The Shadow Poliwrath doesn't rely quite as much on baiting against the Toxicroak, because those Ice Punches are doing pretty decent damage on their own, and the Mud Shots are super effective, meaning they do provide a little more shield pressure, fast move pressure against the Toxicroak than you would think for a Mud Shot user. So if you chip away a little bit of the Toxicroak's HP with another Pokemon and then bring in your Poliwrath, then you could probably get it to a point where you just throw Ice Punches, which get there super fast. It's like 5-4-5. It's real fast. The advantage with Galarian Farfetch'd is that not only does it absolutely slaughter the Poliwrath with Leaf Blade, but the Leaf Blade provides better pressure against other things. If people are crazy enough to bring things that aren't one of those 3 that we've talked about, like a Machamp or Primeape, a Leaf Blade will do a lot better at pressuring those things than what Ice Punch will. There are other things that also resist fighting type moves in the meta, and I want to give a quick talk about them quickly. The first is Hisuian Sneasel. It has the same typing as Toxicroak in the fighting poison type, but I do not recommend it because it's not only is it losing just as hard, in fact I think maybe even harder against a Throw, because it's got less that product. Oh no, it's got slightly more, just the barest amount more, but it's still losing very, very hard to Throw. But it's also taking super effective damage from the Mud Bombs from Toxicroak. It does have Aerial Ace, which is super effective against it, but it is 45 energy as opposed to 40 from Mud Bomb, and Poison Jab and Counter are providing the same energy, which means the Mud Bombs are coming faster than the Aerial Aces. So Sneasel's going to lose that. So it loses hard to both of the 2 big Pokemon, so I wouldn't recommend it for that reason. The next one down is Galarian Zapdos, which is good with the flying typing, so resisting the Mud Bombs. The Toxicroak has to rely on Sludge Bomb to hit it, but it still loses because it's taking a little too long to get to each of those moves, the Ancient Power and the Brave Bird. So Toxicroak can win with counters and a Sludge Bomb. And as far as Brave Bird users go, Galarian Farfetch'd is probably better just because that Fury Cutter generates energy faster, right? And the third thing is a Heracross. And while it sounds appealing, almost all of Heracross's moves are resisted by Fighting type, which is a huge problem. The only way you can do unresisted damage is by running Earthquake. Counters resisted, Close Combat, Megahorn, Rock Blast, all resisted, and Megahorn doubly resisted by a Toxicroak. So unless you can land an Earthquake, it's not going to do much. So that's Fighting Cup meta in a nutshell. I'm amazed that we broke the 5-minute mark with this meta, but because that's the whole thing. That's everything you need to know about Fighting Cup. Let us know if you have any other weird, spicy picks that you plan to run, and good luck with your Fighting Cup battles.